Guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is season 6. Let's get cooking. Go get off the seat. Come on. Oh, shit. Oh. Right, let's go. Guys, season 6. I can't believe I'm on season 6. It's an amazing journey, and I hope these videos are going to be even better than they've ever been. Today I'm going to be making seitan bacon. So I've made quite a few vegan bacons in the past on my YouTube channel. Coconut bacon, aubergine bacon, I think there's another one I can't quite remember. But this seitan bacon is the ultimate vegan bacon. It took me a while to get this recipe right, but I've mastered it and it's literally incredible. It's even got a streak running through it, so it looks like traditional bacon, and it will definitely fool some of your non-vegan guests. And not only that, it will get non-vegans thinking that maybe, you know, they won't miss bacon when they first go vegan. This is great for those type of people who are maybe just transitioning. It's quite a complex recipe, this seitan bacon. So obviously we've got the streak and we've got the main bacon part. So I'm going to break this down into 2 recipes. But if you're struggling, obviously the full written recipe is on my website. So let's get into the main bit first, and yeah, it's going to be great. So let's get into it. To a ninja cup, add a sautéed red onion and 2 cloves of garlic. Add 1 cup of vegetable stock, half a cup of apple juice, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 5 tablespoons of maple syrup, 1 tablespoon of miso paste, 2 tablespoons of liquid smoke. So this liquid smoke I get from Amazon. If you don't have it or don't want to buy it or don't want to use it, just add some smoked paprika. I'm already adding 4 tablespoons of it. Just add an additional 1 tablespoon of smoked paprika to get that smokiness which this bacon really needs. So let's get that in. Next, I'm going to add half a cup of chickpeas. Next up, add half a cup of dried mushrooms, followed by half a teaspoon of fennel seeds, 1 teaspoon of dried sage, and a teaspoon of cracked black pepper. So next up, I'm going to add some smoked salt just to keep going with those smoky flavours which bacon I think really needs. So this is from Wales, where I live, and it's amazing. The smell is incredible. Oh wow, it's been smoked over, I don't know, oak maybe. It smells great. So I'm just going to add around a teaspoon of that because the miso is quite salty, the soy sauce is quite salty. But if you remember, bacon, traditional bacon, is often cured in salt, so bacon traditionally does have a salty flavour, so that's why the salt is going in there. And also I'm going to really cut this fine as possible, so we're not going to be eating big chunks of it. It's going to be cut really fine, so we're not going to be having too much of it basically. So it's okay to have a little bit of salt in there. I'm blabbing on now, I best just get on with it. So let's blitz this up now until it's super smooth, and then we're going to mix it with the dry ingredients. But before I do that, I'm going to measure out the ingredients, the wet ingredients for the streak part of the streaky bacon. So let's get into it. Blitz the mix until it's smooth. Now I'm just going to put together the wet mix for the streak part of the bacon. Into a ninja cup, add half a cup of firm tofu. Next, add half a cup of soy milk. Add half a cup of cooked chickpeas. Next, add 1 teaspoon of onion salt, 1 teaspoon of cracked black pepper, 1 teaspoon of dried tarragon, and a 1/4 teaspoon of ground garlic. Finally, add 1 tablespoon of miso paste. Blitz the mix up until smooth. So guys, now it's time to mix the wet ingredients with the dry ingredients and then knead it. Lots of you have been asking me in the comments and on Instagram if you can knead the seitan dough in a mixer. So I decided to buy a cheap mixer, and this is it here, and I gave it a go and it worked. So I'm never going to knead seitan dough in my hand again. Although doing it by hand is easier because you can sort of see when the dough is ready, when you know it's kneaded well enough. In the mixer you have to stop it now and then to check if it's done. So I will probably finish kneading it by hand, but this is really great if you may not have the energy to knead it, because it does take a lot of effort to knead seitan dough, and you really need to knead it, because if you don't, it's going to turn out really spongy after it's cooked. You need to knead it and pound it, but this mixer does the job for you. So I'm going to get on with it now. First up, let's do the main bacon part first, and I'm going to add 2 1/4 cups of wheat gluten to the mixer. Next, add 4 tablespoons of chickpea flour and 3 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, followed by the wet ingredients for the main bacon part. Turn the mixer on, starting off slow, then building speed up. Knead the dough in the mixer for 6 to 8 minutes. If you're hand kneading the dough, make sure you're really firm with it and knead it for a full 10 to 12 minutes. Once the main part of the bacon is kneading, prepare the dry ingredients for the streak. Add 1 cup of wheat gluten to a mixing bowl, followed by 2 tablespoons of chickpea flour. Add 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. So the only issue when you're kneading it in a mix like this, it doesn't form one ball, it breaks up into pieces. So I'm going to get this out now. It's been in there for 8 minutes, and I'm just going to work it myself for about 2 more minutes just to make it into one ball of dough. And whilst I'm doing that, I'm going to get the wet mix for the streak and the dry mix in there, and that's going to start kneading. I'm going to do that for about 5 to 6 minutes because it's a smaller quantity. So let's get that going. So let's knead this for about 6 minutes. So my streak dough has been kneaded for 4 to 5 minutes, and it was on high speed, so it only took 4 to 5 minutes. I'm just making this dough into a sort of rectangle shape, and I'm using a rolling pin to hammer it out because it's really tough and it's hard to actually mould into a rectangle without using a rolling pin. Doesn't have to be perfect. Something like this will do. So just set this aside and let it rest for a bit, and we'll just finish off kneading the streak dough. Try and stretch the dough into a rectangular shape, a similar size to the main bacon part. Obviously the streak dough will be a lot thinner because it's half the mixture, more or less. So I've just finished beating this dough now, and they're similar size shapes. This one's obviously a lot thinner, and all I want to do is just lay that on top, like so, and just sort of shape them together. And then get a knife and just cut it in half. So let's get the dough on the surface, and this one I'm going to place on top. As you see, we'll have a streak running there and a streak on top. And now we just need to try and incorporate the 2 different doughs together, and that involves more pounding and a little bit of shaping with your hands. So just get into it. Keep it in that rectangular shape though. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just mould them together. Beat the doughs or the meat until it's incorporated together. I know this recipe is quite a lot of effort, but honestly, it's so worth it. The flavour is incredible, but also you get so many portions out of this. So once it's cooked, after putting it in the water, and I'm going to preheat a saucepan full of water now. Once it's cooked, we can cut it in half. You can put some in the freezer, and then you can slice the rest really, really fine and store it. You can put it in sandwiches, you can put it in pasta dishes. I'm actually going to be making a carbonara on my YouTube channel soon, so stay tuned, and I'm going to be using this bacon. Honestly, it's the best carbonara, and this is the best vegan bacon around, I promise you. So it's worth it. I'm nearly done finishing this now. It's starting to incorporate each other, the both doughs, and I'm going to wrap it up and get it in the water. So let's preheat the water now. So I'm going to finish beating the meat. The camera crew are joking around and saying that I'm beating the meat, which is kind of true. It's not meat though. It's seitan. This is nearly done. I'm going to wrap it up and then get it in the water. Set the dough aside and prepare some cling film and some greaseproof paper. Sprinkle some normal sea salt or smoked salt over the top of the dough. Sprinkle some salt into the middle of the greaseproof paper. This is totally optional, but I'm also going to add some smoked chili flakes on top. These are sweet, so it's not going to be spicy. I'm just going to add a sprinkle over the top. So in terms of the amount this serves, it all depends how good your knife skills are, but this, to me, I could probably get about 40 slices out of this, really, really fine, and that's how you want it. So let's get it on. So get some cling film ready, but we just want to wrap this up. First in the greaseproof, then in a few layers of cling film. Lay a few pieces of cling film onto your surface, then wrap up the bacon dough. Try and wrap the dough as tightly as you can, keeping that rectangular shape. So the dough is all wrapped up, and it kind of looks like something that's going to be found at customs in the airports, but it's definitely nothing suspicious. It's our amazing vegan bacon dough. So I'm going to get it into the water now. It's simmering. We don't want it to boil, just simmer. This is going into the water for 2 hours. You basically just have to forget about it. Check it halfway through and just flip it over and make sure that the water's only ever simmering. So let's get this in now for 2 hours. So I'm going to clean up now, check this halfway through cooking, and then I'm going to show you how I like to serve this bacon, and that is of course in a BLT sandwich. So as soon as I cleaned up and this is cooked, I'm going to slice it up, fry it off and make it the most amazing sandwich. After an hour of cooking, flip over the bacon and cook for 1 more hour. Meanwhile, I'm going to prepare some ingredients to make the ultimate BLT. After 2 hours, remove the bacon from the water and allow it to cool. Once cool enough to handle, remove the wrapping from the bacon. It's totally optional, but I like to add a sprinkle more smoked salt over the top. Then place the bacon onto a tray and place into the fridge to completely cool. Start off with some nice bread. I'm also going to be putting some tomatoes, radishes, rocket, and of course some lettuce. I'm also going to be spreading on some vegan mayo, and my vegan mayo recipe is in my book. So my bacon is cool, and I'm going to slice it really fine, and it's at this stage where you can even chop it up in half, put it in a sandwich bag and pop it in the freezer, and it'll last in there for 3 months. And it actually keeps in the fridge for a week, so you can come and have this whenever you please. As I said, it goes into amazing pasta dishes. You can put it in sandwiches like I'm going to do. It can just be used for any sort of bacon purpose. So I'm going to cut this really fine now, and we should see a really nice streak running through it. And look at that, streaky vegan bacon. Who'd have thought it? That looks incredible to me. And just so you know, you can actually eat this like this. You don't have to pan fry it, but when you pan fry it, it goes really, really crispy. So that's what I'm going to do now for this sandwich, because I think for a BLT, it's always important to have crispy bacon running through the sandwich. So I'm going to fry this off now, and then I'll give it a taste. Wow, this is unbelievable. And what you can also do now is drizzle over some maple syrup for that extra crispiness. That is just, I'm so impressed with myself. It's going to crispen up. It's just absolutely amazing. The smells are smoky, sweet, literally incredible. So I can't wait to make this sandwich now. Let's build the most banging BLT ever. I literally just cannot believe this. I hope I've proven to you how worthwhile it is going through all that effort to make this, because look how incredible that is. I'm going to finish this sandwich and give it a taste. It's crispened up already actually, so I'm really pleased. I'm going to put some tomatoes on first actually. My mouth is watering. I need to tuck into this now. This is looking excellent. Let's give this a try. That is incredible. Sweet, smoky, crispy, Oh, it's just so meaty. The texture is incredible. It goes really well with sorry. It goes really well with my mayonnaise. The lettuce, which is also really crunchy. Everything. It's the perfect BLT. It's the perfect vegan BLT. So pleased with this. Thank you for watching. Sorry if it's quite a long video, but it's quite a complex recipe and I had to show you exactly how to do it. Remember, the full written recipes on my website. My book is out now, so please support me, and you can get it from the link below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back next week with a new recipe video. See you. Good.